How's it hanging, guys? Hope you're doing well. Me, I gotta tell you, I'm having an awesome time recently. Spring has sprung, the weather's beautiful, the birds are chirping. I really couldn't be happier. I tell you, man, there's something in the air for sure. There's got to be something in the air because it's got a white boy really feeling like, uh-oh.
Oh, come on. Guys, come on, please stop. Watch the pit fight. Oh my gosh, my eyes.
Soon enough, fair viewer, that could end up being you. What do I mean by that, you ask? Well, luckily I am prepared to elaborate. You see, the West has a big problem that has been undeniable in the last few years, and that problem, of course, is immigration. Especially recently, this problem has become extremely exacerbated across the entire Western world. You can't do anything or go anywhere without hearing some horrible story about some native-born American or European getting or by someone who, let's be honest, doesn't exactly come from our neck of the woods. Add this to the fact that Florida is currently being flooded with Haitians fleeing literal cannibalism from their own people, and call me crazy, but I feel like this problem simply cannot be ignored any longer. It's enormous and it needs to be discussed. But there's just one teensy little problem. YouTube is in on all of it. Yeah, I know, shocking, right? YouTube, of course, is going to ban me, or worse, if I explain the immigration issue with the necessary detail to keep you guys informed. Most content creators or talking heads would either not talk about it, or only talk about immigration in such a way that they won't get banned, which of course involves leaving out tons of necessary details. But not Based White Boy. I think I found a way to get around all this nonsense without making myself a nail for the ban hammer. And that idea is... dogs! You see, I am not going to talk about America or real life at all. Through the power of artistic license, I am going to weave a fictional narrative about dogs and what happens in their dog park when some unsavory characters get led inside. So if anyone thinks I'm being racist or xenophobic or any other stupid buzzword, no, I'm not. I am simply creating a fictional narrative and telling a fictional story about fictional dogs. I'm like if a retarded J.R.R. Tolkien had a baby with Jeff Kinney, alright? So without further ado, let's take a trip to the dog park. Our story begins in a faraway land called screw it. You know what? Our story starts in a place called the Old Dog Park. Now, the dogs living in the Old Dog Park are all very closely related, but some are more related than others. This leads to a situation where the Old Dog Park is kind of made up of a bunch of smaller dog parks, if that makes sense. So, for instance, you've got the German Shepherd Dog Park, you've got the French Bulldog Dog Park, the English Foxhound Dog Park, the Welsh Terrier Dog Park. You know, you get it. You get the picture. Anyway, the dogs in the Old Dog Park were very adventurous, alright? They like to create, they like to explore, they like to expand. Heck, they even like to conquer. This adventurous spirit led them to eventually discovering an entirely new dog park across the Atlantic Ocean, which we are going to call the New Dog Park. These dogs also really like to fight about religion and politics, and this fighting made a couple groups of dogs want to leave the Old Dog Park and actually go live in the New Dog Park across the Atlantic. This initial group of dogs was mostly made up of English Foxhounds, Scottish Terriers, German Shepherds, and some smaller groups like Swedish Yellhounds and Dutch Shepherds mixed in. Also, just keep this in the back of your mind. There's a small group of dogs called Borzois who went along as well. They're not exactly from the Old Dog Park. In fact, they really kind of don't like dogs from the Old Dog Park, and you'll kind of see them appearing sporadically around some bad moments throughout the story. Make of that what you will. Anyway, so this ragtag group of dogs made their way to the New Dog Park, did some colonizing, fought some English Foxhounds, bing bang boom, they made their own dog park for themselves. These dogs still have roots in the dog parks from which they came, but they all kind of mixed together now that they're all their own dog park, and they became their own group, which we're going to call Golden Retrievers. So the Golden Retrievers get together, and they're kind of like, hey, we're pretty cool, right, man? Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think we're pretty cool. You want to, like, pop off? Ah, yeah, why the heck not? I guess we can pop off right now. So suffice it to say, the Golden Retrievers did in fact pop off. In fact, they popped off so hard that their new dog park became the most epic and most dominant dog park the entire world had ever seen. Now, there's probably a couple pit bulls in the back starting to growl at me because I've forgotten to mention one key detail. The Golden Retrievers did not come to the new dog park alone, and that was actually part of their undoing. Let me explain. It's true, the Golden Retrievers brought some other dogs to the new dog park as well, and it really ended up biting them in the tail. The first group of dogs they brought over were pit bulls from the Big Desert Dog Park. See, the Desert Dog Park was a bit of a mess. Some tribes of pit bulls were selling other tribes of pit bulls into slavery, and unfortunately, many dogs in the new dog park thought it would be a good idea to buy some of these pit bulls as slaves for themselves. Most people want to blame this on the Golden Retrievers wholesale, and while they did play a part, it's important to note that this slave market had a very disproportionately large number of borzois participating in owning, transporting, and selling these pit bulls. Just something to keep in mind. Anyway, this situation was kind of causing a lot of beef between the pit bulls and the Golden Retrievers, and it was eventually determined to actually be a very cringe practice by some of the Golden Retrievers, so after some gentle dogly debate, the pit bulls were freed from their shackles, and this fixed a lot of the beef between the Goldens and the pit bulls, right?
Wrong.
Yeah, even after being freed, the pit bulls were and still are very, very upset about the whole thing, no matter how many social and welfare programs the Goldens tried to give them to make up for it. In general, the pit bulls were simply not fans of the Goldens and did not like playing by the rules of their dog park. The Goldens offered to send them back to the Big Desert Dog Park instead, but the pit bulls didn't really want that either. The pit bulls seemed to prefer living in the Goldens' dog park, while breaking all of its rules and claiming that the rules are unfair to the pit bulls. To this day, pit bulls, while only making up 13% of the dog park's population, commit 50% of the crimes. And as you'll see shortly, this is a theme that will continue to develop as more dogs are invited to the new dog park.
Get back, Gruffy, get back, you flea-infested mongrel!
Now, the Golden Retrievers had been letting small amounts of other dogs move into the new dog park, but they had some rules in place. For example, since the new dog park was based on how things were in the old dog park, only dogs from the old dog park were allowed in. This is to ensure that these new dogs would be able to properly assimilate to their new park. As evidenced by the pit bulls, if you immigrate from one dog park to a completely different dog park, it's going to make things very tough for both the immigrant and native dogs, leading to animosity and in many cases violence. So while there was light immigration to the new dog park for a long time, the rules in place made sure that the Golden Retrievers, as the dogs who actually created the dog park in the first place, were able to stay in the demographic majority and made sure that their culture would stay as the dominant culture. You know, since it's their dog park, I feel like that's not a huge ask. But this all changed in 1965 when then President Lyndon B. Pawson, with the help of his many Borzoi friends, signed a new law called the Hart-Celler Act. This law abolished all of the old immigration rules the Golden Retrievers had in place and made coming to the new dog park a total free-for-all. There were now hardly any restrictions on what kind of dogs were allowed into the park. While this seemed to the Goldens as a nice gesture to the rest of the world at the time, they would soon find out that their kindness was being taken advantage of. See, the new immigration rules, or lack thereof, placed little to no emphasis on the new dogs actually assimilating to the Golden Retriever's culture. Instead, most new dogs only hung out with other members of their own breeds, leading to a very balkanized society that had less in common every single day. These new breeds understood that they were very different from the Goldens, and they had no interest in learning any of their customs or assimilating to any part of their culture. With the occasional exception, these new breeds simply viewed the Goldens' dog park as an economic zone by which they could enrich themselves. extracting from Golden Retriever Society with no interest at all in maintaining or preserving that society. In fact, they actually loathed the Golden Retriever Society, since it was unlike the dog parks that they came from. So on top of extracting resources from the Golden's dog park, they also began running for political office and changing laws in favor of themselves and out of favor of the Goldens. Those of them that weren't exactly built for political activism became criminals. Shocking, I know. And they really took pride in destabilizing peaceful society and committing extremely vile acts that Golden Retrievers were simply unprepared to deal with. As time went on, these new breeds gained more and more power, and used that power to disempower the Goldens more and more in their own dog park. This brings us to the modern day. After years of extracting the Goldens' wealth and using their power and protected status to trample all over the Goldens, Golden Retrievers have become pariahs in their own dog park that they created. Things have gotten so bad that many young Goldens have even been brainwashed into hating their own breed. These new immigrant breeds, and a bunch of Borzois too, have now completely opened up the new dog park's borders, letting even the most despicable puppy trafficking dogs in the world come into the dog park free of charge. Goldens are treated as second-class citizens in their own dog park, all while Borzoi-run media spins every narrative to say that everything is the fault of the Golden Retrievers, inspiring even more hatred to come their way. Things have even gotten so bad that refugee dogs from Haiti, where cannibals run rampant, are going to be welcomed into the dog park. Surely that won't have any negative repercussions.
Who let the dogs out?
At this point, I think it's safe to say the Golden Retriever's new dog park is all but fallen. Now listen, guys, in this completely hypothetical scenario, this fairy tale fictional story, there is still a chance that the Goldens can rally and take back their dog park. But they're going to have to be smart, hating these other breeds or stooping down to their level is not really going to fix anything. But raising these ideas in the public consciousness and reminding the Golden Retrievers who they are, well, that just might get us somewhere. I know at this point it can seem pretty hopeless, but all the Golden Retrievers need to remember is that all they need to do is focus on what they can control. Raise up a beautiful Golden Retriever family, take them to church, instill their old values in them. That's how Golden Retrievers win. They should also probably look into the Borzois and why they have so much power in the dog park when they clearly hate Golden Retrievers. I think looking into that would probably help.
Oy vey, shut it down.
Just kidding. Yeah, hopefully. I haven't really posted the video yet, so I guess we'll find out. But anyway, that's going to do it for me today, guys. I'm Bass White Boy, and thank you guys for watching.